Now all you people, I want you to set those headphones down. Get up. I said get up off your chairs and sing it with me one time. One time. It don't cost nothing, but you feel real good. But here we go. It's the hump day, happy hour hangout. Yes, it's the hump day, happy hour hangout. Oh yes, let's all get used at the director's garage.
Well, I'm hoping that we have better luck this week than we did last week, that's for sure. My God. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Hump Day Happy Hour Hangout here at the Director's Garage on a Thursday because my brother-in-law was in town last week. How you doing, everybody? Hey, Sennheiser HD-820, one of the most maligned headphones in the history of headphoneonia. Headphone world? You get the idea. Yeah, not a lot of fans of this headphone. I am. I think these things are fun. I think they're just the coolest closed back headphone of all time. It's a little hollow quality to them, but they do really good things with soundstage. They're reasonably fast, and they have good bass. It just gets a little confused sometimes as far as the image. But I enjoy these things. I think there's a place for these things, and I don't subscribe to the masses who have killed and panned this headphone routinely for years. Really enjoyed them. I pulled them out today, and I was listening to a few different things. I was listening to some Steely Dan and some other stuff, and just having a good time with them. Was listening to some electrostatics this week, because I was listening while I was finishing up taxes. I pulled out some classical piano, and so I was listening to the Stax SRX 9000 and really enjoying that with the B21 Raider. Of course, I told you last week the Alphabet amp has gone away. It's now the KGSSHV Carbon CC now has another home, and hopefully they're enjoying that headphone amp. The guy who wrote me and actually said he really enjoys it, and I said I do think it's the finest electrostatic amp that I've heard. I don't know if it's the best in the world, but you know, everybody hears differently and has different opinions. That's what makes this hobby so great, right? Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you've joined us, and it seems like we've got a bit rate today. Nothing seems to be staggering or stopping or freezing and any of that stuff. Man, that was an adventure last week, wasn't it? Wasn't it a little adventure? Oh man, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry we had to interrupt this. Well, to make up for it, today we've got a lot to do. We've got Neil Snyder's viewer photos. If you have viewer photos, send them in. Send them to directorsgarage@gmail.com. Directorsgarage@gmail.com. Let's do it backwards. What's wrong with me? So much fun. We're going to check out the photos that Neil sent in of some gear and components that he's added to his system. I would note that the Carbon 2 is now shipping. I should get rid of this. The Carbon 2 is now shipping from Audeze, from our friends at Audeze. So you can actually buy them and they'll send them to you now. It's not like vaporware, or it's not like, hey, it's coming in the next day. It's actually there and it's working now. So that is exciting. And I have my order in to get to get a pair of those. So that'll be an upcoming episode. You know, we're going to be doing the Carbon 2 at some point, because I did pay the little. It wasn't a lot of money. It was like $900 or something like that. I think it was. Maybe it was more. Maybe it was $1,000. But to get the upgrade done, and that was just a worthwhile. Although me being unemployed. probably not the smartest thing to do, but I did want to take advantage of that while it was being offered. And Audeze was kind enough to do mine. So we'll see when it comes in. After the Eversolo, we'll probably get to, well, I'm guessing we're going to have that Carbon 2 to unbox and check out for the first time. We'll do that in an episode. The R6 Eversolo review, I am now starting to write that, so we're going to get that done. My plan is to do the following. We've got a live stream on Saturday. We're going to do the Hangout on Saturday, and that is going to have special guest Kai Moulton from Noble Audio. He says he's got some stuff to talk about and show off, things that are upcoming, and so we're going to get some sneak peeks at some stuff, I'm imagining, and I'm excited about that. So we're going to have Noble, the guys from Noble will be on the Saturday morning Hangout. And that, to check that out, you go over to the Patreon thing. There's probably a link below in this description. And you can join that for $3 on Saturday. $3. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. It'll get you in the door and you can hang with us. We do that from 9:30 to noon. We do it once a month. This month it's twice a month because February was so screwed up that we did the first Hangout, which was actually February, on March 1st. So I'm doing a second one so that we keep up at least one Hangout a month thing. I want the Patreon folks to feel like they're getting some value for their cash. And we're going to be picking up on episodes, I think, too. I think we'll start ramping up production rates on what we're going to have forthcoming. I'm excited to talk about this Eversolo R6. It's been sitting on my desktop. I've been using it a lot, certainly through tax season, and I have come to really love this little unit, and it's going to be a sad day when I have to send it away, for sure. What else have we got going on? Oh, and there's a new Thieaudio has a competitor to the A6, to the Eversolo A6, and it's called the S15, and it lists at $1,000. I'm going to show it off right now. Pre-orders are happening. Whoops! Ha! Check your preview. Technical stuff. I'll talk about some technical stuff with the computer I was dealing with in the last week too. Did some computer upgrades. Anyway, this is the Eversolo. This is the Eversolo's version of that A6 basically, and it's called the R15. It's a high-res DAC Bluetooth music streamer, and it's got this gorgeous. It looks like a touchscreen on the front. And I just saw this was open for pre-order now, and at $1,000, I wonder what DAC they're using. And you'd want to take a look at the S15 and see what the DAC chip is, and then compare that DAC chip to the DAC chip in the different Eversolo models, because I know that there's different levels. The DAC on this A6 is the weakest link in the whole thing. The best. This is a phenomenal box, but the DAC is a little on the weak side for what you would probably want if you have higher end headphones, stuff in the 2,000, 3,000 and upward range. I think the DAC is a little limiting, to my ears anyway. And granted, I'm comparing it to stuff that's literally 20 times the cost, which is probably not too fair, but you know, we got to do something, guys. We got to have some fun. But I'd want to look at the DAC chip that's on this S15 and compare it to the DAC chip in the different Eversolo models and decide. I do know, having the A6 here, the software and the interface is just beautiful. So let's look through some photos here of this S15. This is available for pre-order on Audio 46 right now, and I believe a Director's Garage coupon code might work for you there if you were interested in picking that up. But I love having these front ends, because if you're working on the computer and you're doing different things, you've got a little display sitting, you know, right off to my side here that's constantly reminding me of what track's playing, what the bit rates are, what am I listening to, what album it's from. It's got visualizers and all kinds of cool stuff. And it's got control. You can control the music, and if you want to pause it real quick, you don't have to dig around and find your Rune app, which might be open in a sub window on your desktop. More on desktop and Windows in a second, but you can just pause it from the screen. Or if you want, or if something comes on, it's a particularly loud piece. You know how music is mixed differently, and some stuff is loud and some stuff is quieter. You can just reach over, grab this beautiful dial that has a glowing ring around it, and you can pull it back 6 dB or something, pull it back a couple of dB just to make the listening experience better. And having all of that in one little box that just sits right here all the time, and it's got a clock on it. It's got, you know, it's a cool unit. It's a great unit to have around. There's an app associated with it. We're going to talk about this in the review. I probably am giving away the whole damn review right now, but I love having these boxes, and to see there's competitors now coming out with boxes too that are in that price range. Look, the Hi-Fi Rose has been out for a while. But that's sitting at $5,000. To have something at $700-800 that you can pick up, $900 or $1,000 that can be this piece of technology on your desk that can help manage the streaming. And you got an app on your phone, you know, it's got all kinds of cross functionality. Love it. Love the idea of it. Just wish that the DAC was a little stronger, but what are you going to expect for that price point? When you've got a beautiful touchscreen and knobs and Bluetooth and all this other stuff built into it. Yeah, they can't put the highest end DAC in the world in there, or it's going to explode the price of this thing. And there are higher priced versions of this. There's an A8 and an A10 you can go to for upwards of $4,000 now. So sitting at just, you know, I think the price on these A6s, well, they've just come out with a new version of this, but $600-700 will get you in the door, and you have this beautiful screen on your desktop. Oh yeah. I'm a fan of this stuff, guys. I love watching it. Fantastic. All right, so what else have we got? Carbon 2 we talked about. So let's talk about the computer system, because I've been one of the things I've been wrestling with when I was doing that 4K doc about the horses, which I think I let links. Go to my community page. There's a link there. The computer was struggling to keep up with me. I had a couple of things happen. I ran out of disk cache space like very quickly on a 4K project, and I don't normally. This show's soup to nuts. Everything on this show is 1080. I don't need. You know, most of you are watching it in 720 on your iPhone anyway. You're watching down-res samples. Very few people are sitting there on a 4K monitor watching. So shooting in 4K for the purposes of this show, it's considerable overkill. I think I get good enough images out of 1080 as long as I'm... and I also shoot in 24 frames a second, which is a film rate. Normally, people don't shoot in film rates. They shoot in 30. Which is a smoother presentation. But film rates, first of all, I like the look, and second of all, when I'm going to do a special effect, having 24 frames to cut mats around is much quicker than having 30 frames. In fact, it's 12% fewer frames to have to worry about masking. So you save yourself some work in working in 24 frames. So anyway, but the horse project was shot mostly in 60 frames a second at 4K, which is a lot of data. It's big, huge files. So when I'm going to color grade and do all this stuff, it's trying to write cache files off, and it filled up my internal hard drive like that. And so I started working with some upgrades, and one of the problems I've had for years is I've upgraded the video card inside. Apple does this crazy thing, and I pulled this out for props and visual purposes. Inside of my Mac Pro, I have one of these big, huge Tower Mac Pros from 2019. It's an Intel unit. It's not one of the M processors. But this is the video card for for an upgraded Mac Pro. But there are lines of video cards that you can buy off the shelf that are not the fancy MPX with the built-in handles and all the cool stuff that the MPX does. It pulls power from the bus instead of having to cable it up. And then you get all these Thunderbolt ports. You get all kinds of cool stuff with these MPX units, but you can enhance the performance of the Mac by going to an off-the-shelf video card. So, and there are only a few that will work, but one of them is this XT6900 from, I don't know who makes it. I forgot who makes it. AMD, I think. But anyway, you can upgrade those cards. So, me being an idiot, for starters, I bought one of these cards and I set it up, and I had both monitors running off of this souped up 6900 XT card. Those MPX modules, if you bought the 6900 equivalent in an MPX module, it's $6,000 for a video card, guys. $6,000. And so I'm like, no. But you can, if you buy the consumer model, it's about $800. And but the problem is it doesn't come in the fancy chassis, and you have to wire up the power cables separate. These are the power cables, and you'll wonder why are they in your hands and not in the computer. I'm going to explain this. So as I'm working and I'm thinking, man, wouldn't it be great if I put two 6900 XT cards in the computer and ran each monitor off of its own processor? How much faster is my workflow going to get for rendering and doing all the things? And then I've got the Afterburner card in there. I'm like, I'm going to soup this system up. So this was a couple of years ago. And I put these two XT cards in, and I could only get one of them to work at a time. It was a nightmare, and I kept pulling cards and putting them back in and putting the system back together and test booting it and redoing it over and over and over. And I finally got to the point where I'm like, I mean, I could see the cards were lit up and the fans were spinning. Everything was working. It just wasn't producing video. So I'm going, oh God, I just gave up on it. And I just, for years, literally, and up till a couple of weeks ago, I was running the whole system with two cards installed, but only one card working. And the system wasn't even seeing the second card. And when I started having cache problems and stuff, I pulled out, I added an internal hard drive to it, an internal SSD drive of 8 terabytes, just to write cache to. So I've got a new drive in there. And while I was at it, I thought, let me just take a second crack at these video cards. So I started playing with it and taking them out and doing the swap thing. Still couldn't get them to work. Pulled out this old MPX module and wound up working for a couple of days on that. And what I wound up figuring out is that these power cables, every one of them were shorting. Whoever made this batch of them, the pins on the inside were not staying. When you'd put it in and you do these quirky bends on the thing, it was pulling the pins away from the pins on the cards and off the motherboard. So I wasn't getting power to the video cards adequately, and it was shutting it down. So now, today, we're running both of those souped up cards, and I've got the new fast thing, and I upgraded the memory. I'm now sitting at like almost half a terabyte what am I doing? 480 gigabytes, so half a terabyte of RAM in this thing now, up from 192. So souped up the system, boys, and it's working well. I'm very excited about this. It was a lot of like tearing the system apart this week and rebuilding it and trying and testing, and then I ordered a whole new set of these things from OWC, and it's all working again. And I'm still haven't solved my storage solution. That's a bigger question for another day, but I've got other fish to fry first. So, okay, the next episode is going to be and put your questions, any of these things you want to talk about in the chat, just put in your questions and we'll talk about it. I've got a viewer system coming up in a few minutes. We'll do that. Oh, other things. So the computer system's working. We're going to do the next episode of the Director's Garage on the A6. And then I'm going to head off to Tennessee for a week or two to do some job hunting, because I think the Tennessee thing is looking more viable than the LA thing. I'm still putting in resumes like crazy. I learned something in the last 2 weeks, and I think I tried to start talking about this last week, but the stream started shutting down. Honest. Oh, I'm missing an uplight. I'm like, why do you have dark, hollow eyes? Because I'm missing my little fill. I had been doing resume. When I lost my job, I haven't submitted a resume in 23 years, really. And even then, when I got the job at ET, I didn't submit a resume. I went in and I met the people, and they hired me on the spot. So I haven't needed a resume for decades, boys, decades. That's how old I am. I'm an old dude. So I hired this woman who was, supposedly like a career counselor kind of person to put together a resume for me. We had an interview together. We sat and she talked about my stuff, and she put together a really beautiful resume. It looks fantastic. It's got a beautiful font to it. It's stylish. It's got these blue bars and columns and a nice, tasteful, beautiful font, and everything was just laid out gorgeously. And that's the resume that I've been sort of working off of and sending in for all of these job applications for the last 6 months. And I haven't been getting, honestly, guys, I haven't been getting many calls at all. And I thought it was just the environment. I thought that, well, the business is just in a downturn right now, and I'm not getting calls because, first of all, I'm a 57-year-old male, white one, in a culture that favors all kinds of other things right now. And I'm old, and, a lot of people don't want an older dude sitting around, working with them on stuff. They're like, oh, you're an old fuddy-duddy. You don't know TikTok. I'm like, well, I don't, but, I can help you guys. I know things. I know some things. I know some production, So I was hoping that folks would see it. So I didn't know what was going on. I just thought that the business has been, I've really only had a few interviews out of everything that I've sent in. And I've sent in hundreds of applications for stuff that I'm, and a lot of times overqualified to do. And I'm like, is it just that they're looking and going, oh, he's just, he's going to be too expensive. I don't know. Well, it turns out my lovely wife, Mrs. Director, got the idea of, let's talk to some recruiters. We have some friends who do recruiting for big companies who are friends of the family. And so we did a couple of interviews with them, just talking to them and explaining, trying to get ideas for why things weren't working. And it turns out that most of these bigger companies, they get 500 submissions for job applications when they put up a job posting. And when they get to sort through all of that, they run the resumes through this AI program. That's Kai Moulton confirming he's going to join us Saturday for the Hangout on the Director's Garage on Saturday, the Patreon thing. I'll talk about that again later in the show. I talked about it at the top if you're just joining us. But I was submitting this resume in, and these AI bots, they look for keywords. They look for phrases and words in your resume. And if it doesn't see these keywords there, you don't make it out of round one and get to a human. And it's shocking that this is happening all over the place. This is the way the world works now, if you're trying to get hired to do something. And so the resume I've been sending out has this unusual font. It's in columns, and it's written kind of like a story rather than direct here's my information about what I've done, and like in very clear language. It's more written in this kind of storytelling way, introducing people to me. And these bots don't understand it. They're just looking for key phrases. And being in a strange font that's not Arial or Helvetica or anything with a serif, it can't read anything with a serif. It can't read strange fonts. It sees gibberish. And if there's columns, there are codes in the text that make it go into columns. It can't read any of this stuff. So for 6 months, I've been sending out a resume that's been essentially getting ignored and not even getting to a human. And I learned that was humiliating, because I'm like, I would hope that I would know something more about that sooner. But, you live and you learn, and I can't beat myself up too much about it. I've literally been out of the job market for 20 some years. So we're reapplying to a lot of places, hoping that we're going to get some results soon. And I've got some interesting possibilities out there, and I've got some people helping me along. So I'm really hoping that we're on the back end of this jobless situation, because I'm really tired of not being able to do the show I want to do, upgrade the equipment and change the equipment in the way that I'm used to changing it, bringing you better content. And I still have this there's this little bit of a mental block that's like, gosh, you're out of a job and you're going to spend days producing a video that won't make you any money. Is this the best use of your time? You should be working the ground and working your contacts, not spending time on a YouTube video. So we're going to get back to the YouTube thing, and I'm going to be able to do that soon. And we'll have regular episodes posting again, but it's just mentally, it's really hard for me to justify, even though I enjoy doing this and enjoy connecting with you guys, and we do the live stream, that I'm not going to cut out of my life because I enjoy the connection. But to spend 4 or 5 days producing a video, as much as I enjoy doing it, it's not making a lot of sense to me to allocate my time there. Sorry, honey, I'm going to take 5 days off to go do this video for YouTube, that will make us, if we're lucky, $50, when I could be trying to get us gainful employment that will save the house. You know what I mean? So that's the sort of status and where we're at with the show, and I'm going to get back to episodes, and I'm going to do the A6 thing, and then I'm going to go off to I'll spend a few days shooting and editing this A6 video, and then I'm going to go off to Tennessee and try and find some work there, and see if I can't find. I don't need a huge job there. I just need something that's like a place to anchor ourselves to, and I can build more work off of that, or find a better job, or do whatever I have to do from there. But I need to get an anchor. I need to have a place to start, and just going there without any job doesn't seem like a smart idea to me. It seems like I really need to think about this and make careful moves, thoughtful moves, right? Because there's our future's on the line, guys. And wives don't like uncertainty. I can tell you this from personal experience. Wives don't like change, and they don't like uncertainty. They like things to be stable and solid. So there you go. Okay, let's do some chat. Get your thoughts about any of this into the chat, or just say you're an idiot and I'm tired of hearing about you talking about your job. Anything you guys want to talk about is fine. And cheers, everybody. Sorry it's a Thursday, but my brother-in-law is in town, and I spent the afternoon hanging with him. So I had to do that yesterday instead of today. Yesterday, so I pushed the live stream to today. The happy hour, hump day happy hour hangout is now like a lopsided hump on the back end of the week. All right, Mr. Dynamite, he's first. You are first, man. You're always first. You're first among us. Hope all is well, brother. The new ZMF Bokeh are breaking in with the new KN-HA2A. Oh, lovely sound. What's new on your gear? Well, there's not much new on my gear. You know, I'm not upgrading gear right now. We are, if anything, I'm downsizing gear. I'm selling some stuff off. I'd be open to selling this pair off. I don't know that anybody wants them because it's got such bad reviews, but I don't listen to other reviewers. I'm like, do these give me an experience that makes me want to hang on to them to get that experience in the future? And the answer is yes. I enjoy these. I've replaced the pads on these with the Daconis. Did that a while ago. I think this is a cool design. I think it's a fun design. I think there's a little bit of a hollow aspect to the sound on this at a couple of frequencies in the upper mids. But these come back nicely to the treble. And so I'm selling off some gear, and like I'm getting sidetracked on stuff all over the place today. And these things just look like the Millennium Falcon or a TIE Fighter to me. There's something really cool about this design. I love them. I just think they're awesome. I think it's just brilliant. They're fun to look at and fun to hold and use. And that's enough for me to recommend them and hang on to them for myself for a while. But I'd consider selling a bunch of these headphones, I think, to pare down if we have to move. I'd rather sell it, move, and buy new stuff than sit here and hang on and have to move all this stuff and worry about it getting stolen in transit or damaged in transit, all that stuff. Mr. Dynamite says, first up, so we did that. Cheeky Fest, hello. Cheers, my brother. Cheers. Hipster Cow, howdy, gents. Glad the internet has fixed itself. Me too. I was nervous because when I first went up, it was giving me a data stream of 1 megabit a second, and that's kind of where we were at last week when I was experiencing all the problems, but it's back up to 5. So no delays, no stuttering. Jonathan sent me a hysterical little still frame from last week. I was like caught in a weird pose. It's like, this is how we will remember you forever. I'm like, great. Thanks, Jonathan. Sajan, thanks for stopping by today. That's awesome. Can't buy them. Oh, the Bokeh, I'm guessing. Hipster Cow still got to drop his Carbon 1 off. Oh, yeah, mine have been in. So I think those are incoming very soon. Very, very soon. So that's exciting. Those are such good headphones, man. I've had a good time. Every time I've heard them, I thought they were something special. They're a very special headphone, and one I'm going to be excited to add to the collection here for not that much money, thank God, because, broke. S15, yes, that's the FiO streamer box. So nice. They make nice products at FiO. I don't know if I don't have a lot of experience with them. I don't know if the quality control is there, but man, they're those little network boxes and toaster, like music toasters that they come out with are just gorgeous, man. They're fun. They're fun boxes, and just for the stream. Juan Chicad. First of all, welcome, Juan. We host anybody who I don't recognize, and I think you're new around here, so appreciate you stopping by. Welcome to the Happy Hour Hangout. Glad you can be here. Juan says, which streamer do you use? Well, I'm a Tidal guy. I use Tidal, but I use it through Rune because I like all the context and the data that Rune provides. I'm a fan of that. I like knowing about the music I'm listening to, or verifying who I thought was wasn't Dizzy Gillespie playing trumpet on that? And you can click on the thing and view the credits, and it'll tell you exactly who's playing which instrument. I love the ability to do that, and that's what Rune adds. It adds context and organization to your music. So it's a Tidal Rune setup that plays off of my computer. I don't have a Rune node. Like the way that Rune intends their systems to be run. I'm just using my computer as the Rune node. And then I stream things, just over the internet into there. But Tidal is the one that I subscribe to. I think they have a deep catalog and great sound. And that combination works for me. I love their catalog. I think they've got fantastic stuff. They've been... And also they dropped their price to $10.99 a month from 20 bucks. Who goes down in price? I'm paying more for my streaming services than ever, and they drop their price to $10.99 a month. Sign me up. Take my money. I don't care if there's advantages anywhere else. I'm like, it's a great price for phenomenal sounding streaming. I'm all over it. All over it. Think it's great. So I use that. Cheeky Fest just upped my resolution. Oh, maybe I look better in 720. Get rid of some of the lines and the wrinkles and the pain. Go back to 720, boys. The grass isn't that greener at 1080. Hipster Cow says, oh yeah, it's pretty crazy. He worked in litigation consulting, specializing in labor discrimination. Many large corporations end up having 1% interview rate because of these systems. Yeah, I've learned so much in the last 2 weeks, and you know, it's a little embarrassing as somebody who's kind of does a lot of tech stuff to not know that there was AI doing this. And the process to create a resume now is so bizarre. You write your base resume, and then you go to the ad for the job you want, and you copy that ad, and you go into ChatGPT, not GTP. I always get that wrong. ChatGPT, and you say, give me the ATS keywords on the following job listing. And you paste the job listing in, and then it spits you out this list of key phrases that the bots will look for. And then you go, and then your next command is incorporate the above keywords in the following resume. And you copy your resume and you paste it into ChatGPT, and you click enter, and it spits you out a resume that's been optimized with the keywords for the job you're applying for. But then you got to go through the resume because it's going to make claims that, you know, it's like, has worked exclusively with Senda systems. And I'm like, I don't know what a Senda system is. I can't claim I know that on a resume. So you have to, change the wording around to high-end vertically integrated data systems, you know, whatever it is. And you have to word it so that it's accurate, but still keeps the spirit of what the key phrase they need is. It's crazy. And you go through this. So it takes you a couple hours really to do a resume and a cover letter. And then you send all that, you fill out the application. And that's the way apparently hiring is working now. And I was completely clueless. Completely clueless, guys. It was scary. It was scary. You got to use AI now or you can't get past the first round. It makes no sense to me. It's like, and especially somebody who writes for a living, in part of my job is writing. Like, wouldn't you want to see if a guy could write a resume? And it's like, no, the bot needs to write your resume and it needs to take over control of your life. AI is running my life. I'll drink to that. Ace of Spades. Yep. Had a resume writing pro, hired a resume writing pro for $500. It was the best money he spent. I spent more than $1,000 to have somebody redo my resume, and it was a resume that nobody could use. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? It's crazy. So I feel your pain, man. It's really something to go through. I had no idea that that's how modern hiring is working. Ace of Spades says hipstery's on the other side of those filters to help narrow down the recruiting pool. So he's only reviewing 50 applicants and not 1,000. Filter questions and recruiting ads is a godsend. Yeah, that's yeah. And they have me fill out those. You know, have you before done this? Do you have direct experience doing that? And if you answer no, you're out. And one of our friends said, I said, you know, what about the cover letter? And she goes, I don't even read the cover letters. I'm like, wow. Doesn't even read them. I'm like, wow. But I guess that's not a thing. They don't care as much. They're like, can you do this job? Are you capable of doing this job? Do you have the qualifications? And move on. And did you match our keywords? Our job application. JTB says Tennessee cost of living, taxes, etc. give you a little breather at least. Yeah, everything is lower there. I've done calculations. The yearly expense on this house alone, just the house, that's not food in the house, that's not including food or clothing or car washes or gas in our cars or anything like that. Just the house itself, the insurance, the mortgage payments, the insurance, which is gone from $2,000 my first year, and this year the insurance is going to be somewhere around $14,000, I'm told, on this place, just for insurance. Property taxes, which are outrageous. I mean, outrageous in LA County. We're well north of $100,000 just to pay for the house, which was fine when we were both working. Didn't even feel it. It was great. But with me out of a job, it's like everything is just tight. But I get some money rolling in the last couple of weeks, so it's kind of fun doing some odd jobs and stuff. But I just need to find permanent employment, whatever that's going to be. So I'm waiting on phone calls. And boys, if we're interrupted with a phone call, we're getting off the air. We're going to take the phone call. Arthur Haywood, cheers, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. David Kirshner says, hi, happy Friday Eve. I know it's almost a true happy hour on a Friday, but I wanted to do it today because I felt bad about not doing it yesterday and get some content out there. I just like to be consistent. I love doing it every week on Wednesday. It's just, it doesn't pan out sometimes because of life, you know. But I'm just glad that we get to hang together and talk about stuff and talk about new headphones and crap that's coming out. Stuff we want. Stuff we want, guys. It's all about stuff we want. Hipster Cow, Ace of Spades, he doesn't blame me. Current case he's working on received a data set of 80 million applications over 5 years. It's an arms race. Oh, 8 million. 8 million. Well, I can tell you this, Hipster. A good job came up with a company called Masterclass. And yeah, have you heard of Masterclass? They do these videos where they get celebrities and high-profile experts to do a series of videos about their craft, about their area of expertise. And they record them and then they market them, and then you can buy a subscription to Masterclass and watch all this content back and get tips from true professionals on anything from photography to film directing to accounting to, you name it, there's a Masterclass for it, which is great. One job opening opened up there, and within 3 hours they had more than 100 applicants. It's a Los Angeles-based job. I'm like, the job market is so starved out here right now. Anything that opens up with any sort of production relation to it is filled immediately. I mean, there's just so many applications. It's crazy. Bananas, boys, bananas. You can't buy them. You can buy the Carbon 2s and they will ship them. He can't buy them. Yeah, they're for sale now. Now they're on the website. You can now actually order them, and they're shipping them, so that's good. But if you buy a Carbon 1, you can send it in, and they'll do an upgrade on it. And that's the path that Hipster Cow's taken. Sajan is picking up a Carbon 1 and going to send him in to get them upgraded. They're really good. He cannot buy them. Cheeky Fest, why can't you buy them? What's going on? Oh, note to self, specific comments with details, as he doesn't read the chat until after his spiel. Okay, so note to self. I just try to I try to keep up, guys. I'm 57 and senile. Arthur Haywood says, I finally got my ZMF Mega Solaire headphone stand in. Oh, that's that really cool looking thing that Zach does. I've seen those. Hasn't unboxed it yet. 10 weeks in the making. Wow. 10 weeks. Let's go look at that real quick. I've seen those. I think they're really cool. They look like trees, like little miniature, like tree. They're so cool. Hang on. ZMF. And then we'll get to Neil's photos. I don't think Neil's in the audience today, unfortunately. Gonna go to ZMF right now. Let's take a look. Whoop. Here's the ZMF website. Product info. Where are the stands? Is it under wood? Oh. Nope, that's just the wood. Straight wood. Shop. How do you buy a stand, boys? Am I missing stuff? Pads? Where's he put them? Cables? Where'd you put them? CMF wear? DIY parts? It's a stand that nobody can find. Jeez. Alright, let's just Google ZMF headphone stand. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's these cool... Is this it? No, that's Sivka. Nice try. Images. Oh, there it is. This is the one. So cool. Look at this thing. And you can put two headphones on it, or you can put one headphone in the cable. Look at that. That's a zebra wood. Oh! So cool. So cool. Yeah, you're going to enjoy that. That's cool. That's worth the price of admission. Love that stuff, man. So good. So good. Okay, so why don't we go off to... Oh, wait, let's pick up on the chat. So yeah, that thing's awesome. That thing's awesome. We found it. What do you think of all the best? What do you all think the best stand is for the Sapphire? He would like to hang them from the metal band and not the leather, and have to unplug the cables every time either. What do I use for mine? Well, okay. So back here, I've bought this stand. Wait, hang on, 2 seconds. This is one of my favorite little stands, and all this is a violin stand. It's a mini violin stand, and it's really nice because, oops, speaking of pulling out the cables, you can hang it by anything you want, and it's got a little thing. So I do that. I have a couple of other things. I have this great little sort of Temu kind of headphone stand made out of pipes and wood, little pipe fittings, and it can hold 4 headphones at a time, more, if you want. But just a couple ideas for stands, things you can do that are on the cheaper side of life. A stand for a violin is not expensive at all. It's $50 at most. So I do that a lot. I mean, I look for other ways to do it. I don't need a $500 headphone stand from Abyss. I have no need for that. There's plenty of other things to spend my money on, like food. So much. So yeah, you can you can hang them from the, but then you can hang it from the band. That's what I love about that, the room headphone stand that's in the background there for the I've shown that off on the show several times. I think it's too wide, too far back there, but it holds the Abyss 1266 by the metal band, not by this band, and it's sort of the strap that touches your head, and it saves that because there's rubber on either side, and it's like if you stretch that out over time, it'll sag. It's a bad plan, so it's better to leave it taut. There you go. What's the he can't afford to, he cannot buy them, he can't afford to buy them. Oh, I get it. Okay. I thought maybe they weren't available in your area or something. The MF in ZMF is, Zach Marabak Films. He was filmmaker before he was looking to start a film business or film career before he was looking to get into headphones, and he was making guitars and stuff, crafts out of wood, and then he started doing a mod for a mod for I forgot what the headphone was he was doing the mod for. Still sells it too. I don't know. It was one of the Fostex headphone, I think. He was doing a Fostex mod for a headphone, and he started messing around with stuff, and then decided, I'll do my own headphone. I want to do my own headphone. So he started playing around, and he came out with a bunch of early models, and then things started to change around 2019, 2018, and he got more serious about it, and he came out with the Verite. The Verite series really launched the company. But I think the headphone that sort of was the mission statement, the change in the mission statement, or the turning point for the company was the Atrium. The Atrium was next level designing. It went, when I got my Verite, I said, this is a really well built cup. It's a beautiful cup, but the overall construction feels like a collection of parts to me. It doesn't feel like a headphone, like a thing. It just feels like a bunch of parts put together to hold these cups in place. And the Atrium is a design. It's a gorgeous design. It's a full-formed thought. It's a well-formed headphone product. And it's got style, and it's beautiful to hold and beautiful to look at. And I think that was a big turning point for him. And he's been on a run, an unprecedented run, really, as a company ever since. When you look at the run of products he's had with the Caldera and the Atrium closed, and then the Caldera closed, and the Boca, and then the amps that he's been doing, and God knows what he's got planned next. But I wouldn't be shocked if he tries an electrostatic some point. Electrostatic headphone at some point. I mean, I think there's a lot. ZMF is going to try and have something for everybody. And I love that there are lower priced models now and top tier products, and they're all distinct and wonderful. I'm a big fan. I'm just a big fan of what Zach does over there. And it's personal touches on his stuff. I had somebody in a chat kind of try and take him down, start dissing on Zach and ZMF, and I'm like, oh, he gets all his drivers from one place, he buys them off the shelf, and I'm like, I know for a fact that's false, because I've had many conversations with Zach where he talks about the need to change suppliers because of failure rates, and they weren't getting the design right, and then the tuning wasn't coming out well, and all these different things before they go into production. And I'm like, you can't do that if you're just slapping a generic part off the shelf into a headphone. And I know he builds the headphones with his own sweat and blood, and a lot of times because of the because when he comes on our live stream, he's sitting there sanding headphones. It's like, yeah, I got a batch of whatever, Aeolus is coming out, and I needed to get this done, so I'm going to sit here and sand while I'm talking to you. He's come on our Hangover Hangout, like working on the headphones. It's astounding. I'm like, dude's an artist. So I think it's awesome. He still loves making the products too. So fun. Yeah. Zach Nerbeck, Fostex, yes. T50RP, that was the headphone I was thinking of. I think that was his original. Yes. And that is Fostex, or is that Audio-Technica? That's Fostex, right? He was doing mods for. SJY Horizon Open is a tungsten killer for $999. Okay. I haven't heard it. I don't even know what it is, Neil. But while Neil is here, let's go take a look at some photos that Neil sent me. This is fun. I love looking at viewer gear, guys. If you have viewer gear, please send them in your photos of your viewer gear rigs to directorsgarage@gmail.com. We'll talk about them and show them off on the show. I love doing this, man. I love doing this. This is the best part of the show. That, and I love going through what's for sale on Head5. Maybe we'll do that before we get out of here today. But all right, here is the photos that Neil sent me. Actually, I'm going to vamp for a couple seconds while I call up the email so I don't get any of this crap wrong. I hate being wrong. Okay. Here we go. Okay, all right, here we go. This is Neil from Neil Snyder. This first thing is an analog bridge, and it's from Modrite, and he's got on the fly he can switch between drivers with this. And let's see if I can zoom in a bit with my high tech. Oh, that's the opposite of zooming in, Michael. Boys, 50 years in television, and I get my zoom ins and zoom outs wrong. What's wrong with me? Okay. Here's the Modrite analog bridge, and this allows him to change up the tube arrangement or go without tubes at the flick of a switch. So if he wants to add a little tube warmth to something, he can engage the U5U4G, which is a rectifier tube. He's got a Ray Samuels Reserve 6SN7 in there, and a Mitsushita D7DJ8, which is this middle tube, I believe, if I know my tube arrangements well. Very cool, and he's got a and then the next photo is this one, and this is showing off a power supply. And a DAC out. Yeah, this is the Sonor. These are both from Sonor, and there's a power supply here, and then there's an optical out. So it's doing a digital conversion. If there's an optical out, I'm imagining. And then here's his network switch setup. With power over Ethernet. So very cool. These are Neil shot photos, and then he wanted to show me off his new Roon computer, and this is a sonic transporter with Roon and tail scale installed. It's small, silent, very fast, works perfectly with Roon. So that was just another photo he wanted to show off. Oh, here's close-ups of the tubes on the Modrite. The tube arrangement. I love tubes. Just love looking at tubes, man. Let's go look at this thing closer. Yes. So good, man. It's so much fun. God, I love this stuff, man. And then we're back to the Modrite photo. So really fun stuff from Neil Snyder that he's using to sort of enhance his system. Of course, Neil has the Ray Samuels B21 Raider like I do. Really fantastic stuff. And then it looks like a Mac. A Mac over there tied into the system. He's got a lot of wires. We've got to work on your wire setup, Neil. We've got to get the wire cleaned up, you know. Make it all tidy. Make it look interesting. That's next. But Neil Snyder, ladies and gentlemen, sending in his viewer photos for us to check out. really cool stuff. And it's kind of neat because he has this analog bridge wired into the path with the B21, which is an aggressive, hard-hitting, lightning fast powerhouse of a solid state amp. And if he wants to warm up the sound a little bit, he can just engage this Modrite analog bridge and warm up the sound a bit and change the characteristics slightly. So very cool stuff from Neil. He's really playing with some higher end gear in the deep end of the pool over there. I won't ask what that Modrite bridge costs, but I know that it's pushing 10 grand. It's not the cheapest solution to get a little tube warmth in your life. The Horizon is good, but that is a huge stretch, Neil. Hipster Cow disagrees with Neil's assessment of the SJY Horizon Open. I haven't seen that headphone. I'll have to check it out at the next Can Jam. Hopefully it's there. Timothy says, does the Woo stand work with the Sisvara? I don't know. Manufacturer that violin stand. He's blind, so specific recommendations are most helpful. See, this was my the stand is called the Z stand, and it's from, you read that, zitherusa.com, zither.usa.com. I will probably go on a limb here and say most likely I bought it from Amazon. Just look up Amazon violin stand, and it works. It's a nice solution, and it's not going to break the bank. But very nice. I like this thing. I think it's fine, and it serves a purpose. The Zither Stand USA. There you go. That's how it goes. That's what we got. That's what we've got. So those of you joining up late, let's recap a little bit of stuff, and then if you guys have any more stuff to say in the chat, go ahead and get that in now, and we'll start wrapping the show up. But Hangover Hangout is Saturday. Kai Moulton from Noble Audio will be our special guest. He's got some latest and greatest things to talk about, which I think should be a lot of fun and illuminating. And hopefully he'll share with us an exclusive or two. You never know. And so you head over to my Patreon to get in on that. And then I've got another episode coming up. The next episode is going to be the Eversolo A6 review, which we're going to finish up. Then I'm going to be out for a week or two on a job hunt in Tennessee. I'm going to get there personally and pound the pavement and try and meet some folks. And then after that, we'll probably come back and it'll be Carbon 2 time. We'll be able to do a show on the Carbon 2. And that'll be exciting. I'm hoping that works out. So we've got some stuff lined up and we're ready to go on it. And I'm excited for this Saturday, guys, to hang out with Kai Moulton, who did a show about a year ago with us on the Hangover Hangout, and showed off a bunch of stuff then. And they've had so many products since then to talk about, and I'd love to talk more about the Apollo and the plans for the Apollo and what might be ahead there. Is there an Apollo 2? Are they already thinking about Apollo 2? All these questions I'd love to get answered. And then, they've got world-class leading IEMs and world-class true wireless stuff, and I've got all that. I keep these around. I still got the grape ones here. These are the cheapies from Noble. These are just a little over $100, get you in the door with a Noble, and these beautiful true wireless IEMs. I forgot, these are called the H-ANC, and they have active noise cancellation. They do a nice job, but I like the ones that are up from there, the Mystiques, and they've got a new pair that I'm hoping that I get to check out soon, called the something 5. Can't remember. We talked about it last week briefly. But I am thrilled that we got through an entire episode without my mug disappearing or freezing. We're in full res this week and not in stutter cam. Let's go through the rest of the chat, then we'll call this one. I'll send you on your way for the rest of the week and your weekend, man. A zither is a class of stringed musical instruments, typically characterized by having many strings stretched across a thin, flat body, played by plucking or strumming them with fingers or a plectrum. Very cool, Cheeky Fest, on the drop of knowledge on the room. Man, I feel a whole lot smarter. Where's my graduation cap? That's amazing, man. Thanks for the knowledge. That's incredible. A zither is a class of stringed musical instruments. I did not know that. Very cool. Ah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Hipster is still on the hunt for a new DAC. The Hi-Fi Rose RD160 looks like the main contender. Well, and if you're going to go that route, then you got to get the streaming box too, because that streaming box is bananas. Does that do everything? Is that what you're talking about? Is it this Hipster? Is it that streaming box? Is that the streaming box, the RD160, or is that the whole shebang? Let's look it up. Hang on. Hi-Fi Rose RD160. Enter. Yeah, this is just the DAC. It looks like. Hang on. I'm getting to you guys. I'll get to you in a second. Okay, so yeah, this is just the digital converter. Not an endorsement for upscale audio, guys. And then they've got the network transport. This is the thing. So you've got the converter, and so I think Hipster. If I'm just saying, if you're going to go that route, you got to add that streaming box, the matching streaming box. You got to, Hipster. You got to do it, Sajan. Just to get in the game, walk with us on this thing. Take us on your journey. You know you want to spend that cash. You know you want to buy that thing. Buy both. Buy both. What's the 160 cost? Trying to find it again. I lost it. Okay, so you're $52.95. So if you just double the price of that for the 160, the RD160 converter shown here, if you just double the cost of this, $52.95, you can get that beautiful, beautiful screen on the streamer as well. And I think you got to have that, Sajan. How could you go incomplete? It's like buying an Oreo and not getting the filling in the middle. You just get the cookies. You got to get the cookies too. Anybody ever say that I'm a bad influence? I'm an instigator, guys. So much fun. I know we were on a little bit early today, and I appreciate it, but I had a lot of fun today, and I'm glad that we got through a live stream. I'm like, is like Spectrum throttling me suddenly? Am I suddenly getting throttled? Oh, man, on this stuff. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for today. I think we had a lot of fun, and we looked up some stuff and had a good time with it. I'm going to, like I said, join us this Saturday. I love when we get a big crowd in there. It makes me feel good when the guests are appreciated, when they have a lot of attendance. So please, if you can, stop by that Hangout on Saturday morning. Starts at 9:30 Pacific. All you $3 Zoom Patreon subscription. I'll send out the Zoom links tonight and get everybody on board. It's just like at that point, I think I'd rather drop 10 grand on a Tambaki. But you can't stream and you can't get those meters, the VU meters on the front. Have you seen it? Have you seen it, Sajan? Have you seen you got to make them dance. It's the dancing screen. Oh, and this little $695 thing does the VU meters too, by the way. So very cool. All right, guys. So stop by if you can on Saturday. I would love to fill the room with folks for Kai Moulton, and these guys tend to drop some like exclusive stuff on us when they drop by. So no pressure from Kai if he's watching, but bring it, man, bring it. We want to know about all the stuff that's coming from Noble in the next 6 months. So that's going to wrap it for today. Tip your waiters and waitresses on the way out the door. That means give us a thumbs up if you can, guys. Appreciate it. Anything to help this channel and help it grow. We like the thumbs up on the episodes, and subscribe if you haven't to the channel. We've got more content on the way. We've got some exciting stuff coming up. Can't wait to review the Ever Solo and have some fun with this unit and do a fun video on that. And then we've got electrostatics on the way, and we'll keep doing the live streaming every week and get through it. So thank you guys for stopping by today, and I'll see you guys before you know it. Cheers, everybody. Let's get off the air clean today. What do you say? Oh, yeah.
It's time for happy hour, people. Let's hang out and get wasted at the director's garage.